this video is about. The mom arrived at the night market, and a rich stranger started a conversation. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving a gentle glow in the sky that hinted at the lingering warmth of the day. The night market was awakening, its vibrancy spilling from every stall, where vendors called out to passers-by, their voices mingling with the sizzling sounds of food cooking on grills, the laughter of children, and the soft strumming of a guitar somewhere in the distance. Maya adjusted her backpack, the weight of it cutting into her shoulders, but she welcomed the familiar discomfort. It gave her focus as she weaved through the crowd, her heart racing not from the crowd's energy, but from the memories that danced around her like fireflies. Just weeks ago, she'd been seeking solace in this very place, trying to move past the heartache of her recent divorce. Tonight was different. She was determined to reclaim her joy among the bustle of the market. Her gaze swept over the stalls adorned with lanterns, their flickering lights casting a warm glow that seemed to breathe life into the night. The scent of grilled skewers filled the air, mingled with the sweet aroma of candied fruits, pulling her deeper into the maze of activity. A small thrill ignited in her chest. She was here to explore, to lift the weight of her past, even if just for a little while. Maya paused at a stall where a vendor was crafting delicate spun sugar. The colorful threads danced like wisps of cotton candy clouds, ephemeral and beautiful. She leaned over the counter, her heart softening at the sight. "How do you make it look so magical?" she asked, a genuine smile breaking across her face. The vendor, an older woman with gentle eyes and a playful grin, looked up. "It's all in the love, dear. You have to pour your heart into it." Maya chuckled. "Maybe I need to learn your secret. Life has been unkind lately." "Ah, love can be a fickle thing," the woman replied knowingly, spinning the sugar with a practiced hand. "But don't let it darken your heart. Sometimes the sweetest things come when you least expect them." Maya nodded, grateful for the encouragement, and purchased a small cone of the spun sugar, savoring its airy sweetness. She continued her wanderings, feeling a little lighter, a little more open to the possibilities of the night. Just then, a voice broke through her reverie. "Excuse me, miss, but I couldn't help but notice you enjoying that treat." Maya turned slowly, her eyes meeting the gaze of a man standing just a few feet away. He was tall, with an air of confidence that felt almost magnetic. His dark hair was tousled, and he wore a well-fitted navy shirt that hinted at a well-cared-for physique beneath, the kind of presence that commanded attention without effort. Yes," she replied, a mixture of curiosity and caution flickering through her. "I must say, you've got quite the knack for making even spun sugar look good," he remarked, his lips curling into a playful smirk. "But I reckon you have a better taste in desserts than in men." Maya raised an eyebrow, both surprised and amused by his boldness. "And why's that? You don't even know me." "True, but I have a feeling you've had your fair share of unfortunate encounters," he said, stepping a little closer, his presence warm and inviting against the cool night air. "I'm Alex, by the way." "Maya," she said, her heart racing slightly as she extended her hand. His grip was firm, and for a brief moment their fingers lingered together, a spark passing through the air between them. "Well, Maya, what brings you to this chaotic little corner of the world on a night like this?" he asked, his gaze searching hers as if trying to read her thoughts. "I guess I'm trying to find myself again," she admitted, surprised at her own honesty. "It's been a tough few months." "Ah, the classic finding oneself journey," he replied, his tone light but with a hint of understanding. "I can relate. Just a few weeks ago, I found myself buried under a mountain of paperwork and corporate meetings, suffocating on the monotony. This place is a breath of fresh air." "So you're not a local?" she asked, intrigued. "Just a visitor. I'm in town on business, but I'm trying to squeeze in some fun before I head back," he replied, his smile widening. "And I must say, the fun's gotten a lot more interesting now that you're here." Maya felt a blush creep up her cheeks. Was he flirting with her, or was she misreading the situation? "Is that so? You must have a high bar for fun if it involves lingering around strangers in the market." "Only when they look like they could use a little company," he said, leaning in closer. "What's the best thing you've eaten here so far?" Maya thought for a moment, her mind drifting back to the fragrant dumplings she'd tried last week. "The dumplings are pretty amazing. There's a stall down there that's always busy, and for good reason." "Let's check it out then," he suggested, his excitement palpable. "I could use a good meal. Business lunches don't exactly count as culinary adventures." She hesitated, the weight of her previous experiences creeping back in. It was a simple outing to get food, but it felt like stepping onto a precipice, a chance to leap into something new. Sure, why not? As they walked side by side, the rhythm of the market enveloped them. People brushed past, laughter and chatter filling the air, but in that moment it felt like they existed in a bubble, separate from the world around them. Their conversation flowed easily, punctuated with laughter and gentle teasing. "Tell me," Alex said as they approached the dumpling stall, "what do you do when you're not exploring night markets?" "I'm a graphic designer," she said, a sense of pride inching into her voice. "I create branding and digital content for small businesses. It's rewarding, but it can feel isolating sometimes." "That sounds fascinating. I'm in finance, which is about as exciting as watching paint dry," he replied with a chuckle. "I envy the creativity that comes with your work. I can barely color inside the lines." The vendor greeted them with a wide grin as they approached the stall, the air thick with the savory scent of steaming dumplings. "What can I get for you two?" "2 orders of everything," Alex exclaimed, earning a laugh from Maya. "Moderation is key," she countered, shaking her head but unable to hide her own delight at his enthusiasm. "Fine, 2 orders of your best," he capitulated, his eyes sparkling with mischief. As they waited, Maya felt a shift in the atmosphere between them, an unspoken connection beginning to weave itself through the conversation. Alex's gaze lingered on her, a deep intensity in his eyes, as if he was discovering hidden parts of her soul. "So Maya, tell me more about your life," he urged, leaning on the wooden counter, genuinely curious. "What made you choose graphic design?" The question caught her off guard, and she felt the weight of her past tugging at her heart. She took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. "It was a way to escape, really. After college, I was uncertain of my path, and art was the only thing that felt like home. It allowed me to express myself, especially during the difficult times." "Difficult times?" he prompted gently, the softness in his voice urging her to continue. Maya hesitated, weighing her desire for transparency against the fear of vulnerability. "I recently went through a divorce," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "It wasn't easy. It felt like a part of my life was just ripped away." "I'm so sorry," he said, his expression shifting to one of genuine empathy. "That must have been incredibly hard." "It was," she replied, feeling the weight of tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. "But I'm trying to rebuild, to rediscover who I am." "And what have you discovered so far?" he asked softly, his gaze unwavering. Maya met his eyes, feeling a rush of warmth flood through her. "That I'm stronger than I thought, that I'm allowed to feel joy again, even in the face of sadness." "Joy is a beautiful thing," Alex said, his voice rich with sincerity. "And I'm honored you're willing to share that journey with me tonight." Before she could respond, the vendor returned with their dumplings, the steam rising like a small cloud of promise between them. Their hands brushed as they reached for the food, and the moment felt electric. "Let's find a spot to eat these," Alex suggested, looking around as they stepped away from the stall. Maya nodded, her heart fluttering nervously as they walked side by side, the night wrapping around them like a cozy blanket. She could feel the chemistry between them simmering just beneath the surface, a tantalizing tension that hinted at something deeper, something that could blossom if they both dared to lean into it. As they settled onto a nearby bench, the warm dumplings steaming between them, Maya felt the atmosphere shift again. The night market buzzed with life around them, but in that moment it was just her and Alex, a singular. The bench creaked slightly as Maya settled down, the wooden slats warm from the lingering heat of the day. She instinctively shifted closer to Alex, her shoulder brushing against his. The closeness sent a thrill through her that she hadn't felt in years. It was a strange mix of excitement and trepidation, the thrill of something new but tinged with the memory of romantic missteps. As they unwrapped the dumplings, the aroma wafting up was intoxicating, savory and rich. Maya took a moment to admire the delicate pleats of the dumplings, the steam rising like a reminder of the warmth she was beginning to feel in Alex's presence. "All right, the moment of truth," Alex said, lifting a dumpling to his lips. He took a bite, his eyes lighting up with delight. "Oh wow, this is amazing." Maya couldn't help but smile at his animated response. "I told you, there's something special about street food. It's made with passion." She took her first bite. The flavors burst on her tongue, savory pork mingling with hints of ginger and scallion. It was more than just food. It was a memory of her late-night escapades with friends, a reminder of laughter and carefree moments. "Passion, huh? I like that," he said, his tone playful. "Then I guess the vendors are like the matchmakers of the culinary world." "Exactly," she laughed, the sound light and airy, easing the tension she hadn't even realized was building. "They're here, creating connections between the flavors and us." "Speaking of connections," he said, his gaze turning more serious as he set his dumpling down, "I really appreciate you sharing about your divorce. That takes a lot of courage." Maya felt a swell of gratitude at his understanding. "Thank you, Alex. It's just, sometimes it feels easier to hide behind laughter and small talk, but with you it feels different. I don't know why." "Maybe it's because you're actually allowing yourself to be seen," he replied, his voice low and sincere. "It's refreshing. It's rare to meet someone who's willing to be vulnerable." Maya's heart raced at his words. It felt oddly intimate to share this moment with him, as if they were the only two souls in the bustling market. She had expected to hide among the crowds, but instead, she felt drawn to this rich connection. "What about you?" she asked, eager to shift the focus back to him. "You mentioned you were buried under paperwork. What's that all about?" "Ah, the glamorous life of a finance guy," he chuckled, shaking his head as he took another bite of his dumpling. "It's mostly numbers and endless meetings, trying to convince people to invest in the next big project. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the challenge, but it can be draining." "Sounds like you could use an escape," she said, tilting her head slightly. "Why not quit and find something that ignites your passion?" Alex considered her words, his brow furrowed in contemplation. "You know, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I find myself longing for creativity, for something that feels alive." He paused, glancing at her with a hint of mischief in his eyes. "Maybe I should take up graphic design." Maya laughed softly. "I can't imagine you stuck behind a computer wearing multiple hats. You seem too dynamic for that." His eyes sparkled with amusement. "Well, I do clean up pretty well, don't I?" He gestured to his fitted shirt and neat hair. "But seriously, I think you have something special. Your art can impact people's lives." "I can't say the same for budgets and spreadsheets." At that, Maya's cheeks warmed. "I appreciate that, but art isn't always a smooth ride. It can be just as suffocating as finance, believe it or not. True, but at least you're creating something meaningful. You're pouring your heart into it, he insisted, his gaze unwavering. That's worth its weight in gold. A comfortable silence enveloped them as they continued to eat, the night air filled with the sounds of laughter and the sizzling of food. Maya felt the warmth of Alex's gaze on her, and her heart fluttered with each sidelong glance. It was intoxicating, yet terrifying, the kind of connection she had thought she lost when her marriage crumbled. "What made you take the leap into graphic design?" Alex asked, breaking the silence. "Was it a deliberate choice, or did you just fall into it?" "It was a bit of both, actually," she admitted thoughtfully. "I was always drawn to art since I was a kid, but after college I felt lost. I took up random jobs, unsure of what I wanted. It wasn't until I helped a friend with her startup that I realized how fulfilling it was to help someone bring their vision to life. That's when I knew I had to pursue it." "Sounds like you found your calling," he said, his tone rich with admiration. "And look at you now. You're here reclaiming your joy. I'd say that takes guts." Maya shrugged, trying to deflect the praise, but inside, warmth spread through her. "I wouldn't have come here without my friends pushing me. They were the ones who encouraged me to step out of my comfort zone." "Friends are important," he agreed, leaning closer, the warmth of his presence enveloping her. "I've often relied on mine to pull me out of my own ruts. It's easy to lose sight of what matters when you're buried in work." A moment of silence passed, and Maya felt a pulse of energy crackling in the air between them. With every word, they were forging a connection, one that felt charged and alive. "What about you?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. "What do your friends do for you?" He smiled, a wistfulness creeping into his expression. "They ground me. They remind me that life isn't just about success and numbers. They're the ones who drag me out of my office and into the world, even if it's just for a night at the market." "Do you miss them?" she asked, and immediately regretted the question as a shadow flickered across his face. "Sometimes," he admitted slowly, his gaze drifting momentarily to the bustling scene around them. "They're all busy with their own lives. It's easy to feel alone when everyone is chasing their own dreams." Maya nodded, understanding the pang of loneliness that came with pursuing ambition. "We all need people who remind us to live, don't we?" "Exactly," he replied, his gaze returning to her, laden with an intensity that sent her heart racing. "And I feel like I've found that tonight in the middle of this chaos." Maya's breath caught in her throat. The night felt thick with possibility, and she could feel the chemistry simmering just below the surface. It was thrilling and terrifying all at once. "Do you believe in fate?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, as if the question held the weight of the world. "I believe in moments," he replied softly, his eyes piercing hers. "Moments that can change the course of our lives, like sitting here, sharing dumplings with you under the night sky." His words hung in the air, heavy with significance. Maya felt the world around them fade. There was only this moment, this connection, and a decision waiting to be made. She could sense the pull between them, a magnetic force that drew them closer, a promise of something deeper. "Maybe we should explore more together," she suggested, her heart pounding with excitement. "The night is still young and there's so much to see." "Are you asking me out on a date, Maya?" he teased, but there was a glimmer of something serious in his eyes. "Maybe I am," she replied, the heat rising in her cheeks, emboldened by their conversation. "Or maybe I'm just willing to take a leap." "Then let's leap," he said, his smile wide and sincere. And for the first time in a long while, Maya felt the thrill of anticipation wash over her. As they stood and made their way back into the thrumming heart of the night market, a new chapter unfolded before them. The air was charged with possibilities, and Maya felt as if she was stepping into something real, an adventure waiting to be embraced. With each stall they passed, each laughter shared, and each word exchanged, she felt the weight of her past begin to lift, replaced by the flickering spark of something new, something hopeful, a reminder that joy could still be found even in the unlikeliest of places. The market pulsed with energy as Maya and Alex navigated through the throngs of people. The vibrant colors of street art illuminated the stalls, each one bursting with life and personality. Maya found herself drawn into the rhythm of the evening, her heart lightening with each step. The air was rich with the mingling aromas of spices, sweet treats, and sizzling meats, creating an intoxicating atmosphere that felt almost like a second chance at happiness. "So, where to next?" Maya asked, glancing up at Alex, whose face was lit with enthusiasm. He had a way of making everything feel like an adventure, and she was more than willing to follow his lead. "How about that crepe stall?" He pointed toward a brightly lit cart, where a vendor was expertly flipping crepes, filling them with an array of delectable toppings. "I hear they have a Nutella strawberry special that's to die for." Maya smiled, her stomach growling in agreement. "I'm in." When she looked at him, she felt an inexplicable warmth spreading through her, as if she had known him longer than just a few hours. Perhaps it was the way he seemed to genuinely care about what she was saying, drawing her into deeper conversations, making her feel seen. As they approached the crepe stall, the vendor greeted them with a warm smile, his hands deftly working the batter on a sizzling hot plate. "What can I get for you two tonight?" "The Nutella and strawberry, please," Alex ordered without hesitation, glancing at Maya. "What about you?" Maya hesitated, biting her lip as excitement rushed through her. "I'll have the same. 2 Nutella strawberry crepes coming right up," the vendor replied, moving quickly to prepare their order. Maya and Alex stepped aside, leaning against the cart as they waited. She caught sight of a couple nearby, sharing a moment of laughter over their own crepes. A pang of longing shot through her, and she turned her gaze back to Alex, who was watching her intently. "Everything okay?" he asked, his brow furrowing slightly in concern. "Yeah," she replied, her voice softer than she intended. Sometimes I see moments like that and it hits me, what it felt like to be part of something special." He nodded thoughtfully, his expression shifting to one of understanding. "I get that. It's easy to feel isolated when you're navigating through change, but tonight feels different, doesn't it? Like we're creating our own little moment right now." Maya smiled at his optimism, feeling a swell of affection for this man who, just hours ago, had been a stranger. "You're right, it does feel special." The vendor returned, handing them each a crepe, the warm, sweet aroma wafting up between them. "Enjoy," he said cheerfully before moving on to the next customer. "Thank you," Maya said, feeling the weight of the crepe in her hand, its warmth seeping through the paper wrapping. She took a tentative bite and the flavors exploded in her mouth. Rich Nutella, sweet strawberries, and a hint of whipped cream. "Oh wow, this is incredible." Alex watched her with an amused smile, his eyes sparkling as she savored the moment. "I told you, this place has a way of surprising you." "It really does," she agreed, feeling a smile dance on her lips. "There's something about street food. It's like a little piece of magic in every bite." "Magic, huh?" His expression turned serious and he leaned slightly closer, a playful glint in his eyes. "What other kinds of magic do you believe in, Maya?" Maya felt her heart skip a beat at his question, the invitation to delve deeper into her thoughts. "I believe in the magic of new beginnings," she said, her voice steady as she spoke her truth. "Life can be unpredictable, but sometimes it leads us to beautiful places, like tonight." He held her gaze, the intensity of his expression making her pulse race. "I couldn't agree more. This night is proof of that. Who would have thought a simple trip to a night market could turn into, well, this?" He gestured between them, the implication hanging in the air. "Exactly," she said, her breath catching slightly as she realized just how profound this connection felt. "It's like the universe conspired to bring us together, even if just for a fleeting moment." "Moments are what life's about," he replied, his voice low and earnest. "We should embrace them, however fleeting they may be." Maya nodded, feeling a rush of emotion wash over her. An unexpected vulnerability mingled with the thrill of possibility. "You're right. I spent so long worrying about the future, about what came next. I forgot to just live." "Then let's live tonight," he suggested, his tone playful yet sincere. "How about we make a pact? No more worrying, just enjoying the night." She laughed softly, feeling lighter already. "Deal. But what does enjoying the night entail?" "Well, for starters," he glanced around, his eyes lighting up with mischief. "How about we try our hands at some carnival games? There's a ring toss booth a few stalls down, and I happen to be quite skilled at winning stuffed animals." "Oh, really?" Maya raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Is that a challenge?" "You bet it is," he replied, a grin spreading across his face. "Prepare to lose." With that playful banter, they made their way toward the ring toss booth. As they walked, Maya felt a sense of freedom wash over her, a feeling she hadn't experienced in far too long. The lightheartedness of the moment broke through the heaviness she had been carrying, and for the first time in ages, she felt like she could breathe. "All right, let's see what you've got," Maya said as they approached the booth, the colorful prizes hanging in sight, each one more enticing than the last. Alex stepped up to the counter, a determined look on his face. "I'll show you how it's done." He paid for a handful of rings and took a deep breath, focusing intently on the task ahead. Maya watched, her heart racing with excitement as he tossed the rings with precision. With each successful throw, the cheers from onlookers grew louder, and Alex's confidence soared. Finally, he landed a ring perfectly around a bottle, the crowd erupting into applause. "See that?" he said, his smile wide as he turned to her. "That's how it's done. Now what do you want?" Maya glanced at the prizes, her eyes landing on a plush bear that was slightly larger than the rest, its fur a soft cream color and its eyes twinkling with mischief. "That one," she pointed, unable to mask her eagerness. "Consider it yours." He grinned, throwing another ring and landing it directly on the corresponding bottle. The vendor nodded appreciatively as he handed the bear over to Alex. "You did it," Maya exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with delight as she accepted the bear, cradling it against her chest. "This is adorable. I knew you'd love it," he said, the light in his eyes bright as he leaned closer, their shoulders brushing again. "But remember, I'm the one who won it. You owe me." "Oh, I do I?" she teased, feeling the warmth of their playful banter enveloping her like a cozy blanket. "What's your price?" He mused, pretending to think deeply. "How about a dance, right here, right now?" "A dance?" Maya laughed, glancing around at the bustling market. "In the middle of all this?" "Why not?" he asked, his eyes glinting with challenge. "Life's too short to hold back. Dance with me, Maya." She felt her pulse quicken at the prospect, and despite her initial hesitation, she found herself nodding. "Okay, but only if you promise not to step on my toes." "Deal," he said, stepping into the small space beside her, his hand extending toward her. As she placed her hand in his, a jolt of electricity surged between them. The world around them faded slightly, the sounds of laughter and chatter becoming a distant hum. Alex took her other hand, spinning her gently as he began to sway to the faint sound of music drifting from a nearby stall. Maya felt alive, caught in the moment as they moved together, laughter spilling from her lips. It was awkward and exhilarating all at once, two souls uniting in a spontaneous dance beneath the twinkling fairy lights. She caught the twinkle in his eyes, the way he radiated joy, and felt herself mirroring his energy. I should have known you'd be a terrible dancer, she teased, feigning an exaggerated stumble. Hey now, I'll have you know I'm an excellent dancer in my own mind. He replied playfully, his laughter mingling with hers as he twirled her again. The thrill of the moment enveloped them. They were lost in each other, the worries of the past slipping away. Maya couldn't remember the last time she felt this free, this light. See, he said, pulling her closer, their bodies brushing against one another. No worries, just enjoying the now. And in that fleeting moment, beneath the stars and streetlights, surrounded by the vibrant chaos, the world melted away as Maya and Alex danced beneath the twinkling fairy lights, laughter spilling from their lips like the sweetest melody of the night. Each spin brought them closer, the warmth of their bodies brushing against each other, creating an electric current that sizzled in the air between them. Maya felt a giddy rush, a joy she hadn't felt in what seemed like ages. The weight of her divorce, the loneliness that had crept into her heart over the past months, faded into the background, overshadowed by this spontaneous connection. She couldn't help but be swept away by Alex's infectious enthusiasm, the way he threw himself into every moment, making it feel alive and fresh. Okay, I admit it, she laughed breathlessly as he twirled her again. You might be a slightly better dancer than you claimed. Just slightly, he shot back, a playful grin stretching across his face. I'll take that as a win. Maya couldn't help but smile back, her heart racing with exhilaration. They swayed lightly, the rhythm of the nearby music pulsating through the air. And for that moment, they were in their own little world, away from the bustling night market filled with strangers and chaos. As the song shifted to a softer tune, Alex pulled her in closer, wrapping his arms around her waist. You know, he said, his voice low and intimate, it's incredible how quickly everything changes. One minute you're just a stranger wandering through a market, and the next, he gestured between them, his gaze deepening. It feels like we've known each other forever. Maya felt a flutter in her chest at his words. They held weight, an acknowledgement of the connection that was blossoming between them. It does feel surreal, she agreed, her voice softening. I didn't expect to meet someone like you tonight. I thought I was just here to escape for a little while. Escape, huh? He mused, his brow furrowing playfully. And how's that going for you? Better than expected, she admitted, her cheeks warming as she met his gaze. I didn't think I'd find someone I could talk to so easily. It's refreshing. I feel the same, he said, a seriousness creeping into his expression. It's rare to connect with someone so quickly, especially in a place like this. He paused, his eyes searching hers, and the atmosphere shifted again, charged, electric. Maya felt her heart sputter, and she found herself leaning in closer, drawn by an invisible thread of attraction that tightened between them. I think it's about being open, she said finally, breaking the spell with her words. I've spent too long hiding behind walls. Tonight feels like a chance to tear them down, even just a little. Alex nodded, his expression thoughtful. That's an important realization. It's easy to forget that vulnerability can lead to beautiful moments like this one. Maya felt the heat rise in her cheeks again, but she met his gaze steadily, emboldened by his sincerity. It's scary, though. I worry about trusting again. Trust is hard, he replied, his voice gentle. But sometimes you have to take a leap of faith, like we did tonight. She smiled, a warmth blooming in her heart. You're right. It's about letting go of the fear of what might happen and embracing the possibility of something beautiful. Exactly, he said, his smile broadening. And speaking of beautiful possibilities, he stepped back slightly, taking her hands in his, the warmth of his touch sending a thrill through her. How about we continue this adventure? I want to show you something. What do you have in mind? She asked, curiosity piqued. There's a little rooftop terrace nearby that overlooks the market. I found it last time I was here, and it gives you a breathtaking view of the city, he said, his eyes sparkling with excitement. It's the perfect spot to unwind and soak in the atmosphere. Maya hesitated for a moment, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. It was impulsive, but there was something about Alex that made her want to embrace spontaneity. "Okay," she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Lead the way." As they made their way through the market, weaving between the colorful stalls and lively crowds, Maya felt a renewed sense of adventure. The pulsing energy of the night surrounded them, and she couldn't help but glance up at Alex, whose face was lit with enthusiasm. He seemed to embody the spirit of the market, vibrant, alive, and filled with possibility. "What's your favorite thing about this place?" she asked, intrigued. Alex paused, considering her question for a moment. "I think it's the atmosphere. There's a certain magic to the night market, the way it brings people together, the energy of everyone sharing in the experience," he said. "It's like we're all part of something bigger, even if just for a night." "I love that perspective," Maya replied, feeling a warmth in her chest. "It's like a reminder that we're not alone, no matter what we're going through." They reached a set of stairs leading to the rooftop, and the sound of the bustling market began to fade as they ascended. Maya's heart raced in anticipation, the thrill of the unknown pushing her forward. As they emerged onto the terrace, the city sprawled before them, its lights twinkling like stars against the dark canvas of the sky. The view was breathtaking, an expansive horizon dotted with shimmering skyscrapers and the faint hum of life below. Maya felt a rush of exhilaration. This moment was a beautiful escape from her reality. "Wow," she breathed, taking in the sight before her. "This is incredible." "Right," Alex stepped closer, his excitement palpable. "The view is everything. It's like the city comes alive from up here." Maya smiled, feeling the warmth of his presence beside her. "Thank you for bringing me here. It feels like a little secret spot." "Only the best for my favorite company," he said, winking playfully. She felt the heat rise in her cheeks again, and she turned her gaze back to the city, the lights reflecting in her eyes. "I can't believe how much has changed in just a few hours. I've laughed more tonight than I have in months." "That's the magic of the night," Alex said, his voice low and sincere. "Sometimes all it takes is a little push to break free from the mundane." Maya nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude for this unexpected evening. "And you've been that push for me. Glad I could be of service," he said, his tone light, but there was an underlying sincerity to his words. He turned to face her, his expression shifting to something more serious. "Maya, I know we just met, but I feel this undeniable connection with you. I don't want to overstep, but I can't ignore it." Her breath caught in her throat. The intensity of his gaze sent a shiver down her spine, and she felt the weight of their unspoken chemistry filling the air between them. "I feel it too, Alex. It's overwhelming, but in a good way." "Then let's embrace it," he said softly, stepping a little closer, his presence warm and inviting. "Let's not overthink it, let's just be." Maya's heart raced as she met his gaze, vulnerability etched into his features. She felt a pull toward him, a magnetic force that urged her to lean into the moment. "I'd like that," she whispered, her voice barely audible. In that instant, time seemed to freeze as they stood there, the city lights twinkling around them like stars. There was an intensity in the air, a promise of something deeper waiting to unfold. Alex reached out, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear, his touch gentle and electric. "Maya," he murmured, his voice dropping to a husky whisper, "can I kiss you?" Her heart raced, a mixture of excitement and nervousness flooding her. The world around them faded, and all she could focus on was the warmth radiating from him, the depth in his eyes, and the longing in his voice. "Yes," she replied, her heart soaring as she leaned in closer. The moment their lips met, everything fell away. The noise of the market, the chaos of the world beyond. It was just them, lost in each other, a connection igniting between them like wildfire. His kiss was soft yet passionate, a gentle exploration that sent tingles down her spine and made her heart race. As they pulled away, their foreheads resting against each other, the world around them resumed, but the bubble they had created felt impenetrable. Maya caught her breath, her heart swelling with a mix of exhilaration and contentment. Wow, she breathed, her cheeks flushed. That was magical. Alex finished for her, his smile wide and genuine. Exactly, she replied, her laughter bubbling up light and airy. I never expected tonight to turn into this. Neither did I, he admitted, his expression serious once more. But I'm glad it did. You've reminded me that there's so much more to life than work, than what we're supposed to do. You've reminded me to embrace the unexpected.